Hi, my name is Rafaela Pandolfini. I am recording this on the land of the Gadigal and Bidjigal peoples who traditionally occupied the Sydney coast. I acknowledge the ongoing trauma caused by colonisation and would like to pay my deepest respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Sovereignty was never ceded. I curated Kiki Ando's solo exhibition, Highest Mountain and Deepest Bay, at the Japan Foundation in Sydney. Unfortunately, due to COVID lockdown, we were unable to install and show the works or run the public programs. This video is a collection of interviews, images, and a reading to give an overview of this project, which is documented in more detail in the catalogue and the Japan Foundation website. The works in the catalogue reflect Kiki's artistic archive and her imaginative world, spanning hand-built earthenware and terracotta ceramics, wearable paper art, animation and performance, plus Hiroko, Kiki's mum's patchworks and zori. In this video, we start with Kiki reading her poem, Art is Dancing, Art is Laughing. There is a brief conversation between Kiki and I about the inspiration behind her practice and the new experience for both of us working within an institutional framework. This video also showcases excerpts from the animation Deep Sea Fish Develop My Unique Personality that New York-based animator Irma Fiend created for us, with an amazing soundtrack by Yamamoto. Kiki and I discussed the process of putting together the very detailed sounds. There are also images of Kiki's work, and finally, in this video, there's a lovely conversation with Kiki and her mom Hiroko, whose works are also in the catalogue. Kiki left Japan 20 years ago to travel and continue her art practice. Highest Mountain and Deepest Bay is the first comprehensive show of Kiki's artistic career. Nature is one of Kiki's greatest inspirations. Kiki grew up in Numazu City near Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan, and Suruga Bay, the country's deepest bay. The mountains and oceans surrounding her home influenced Kiki's love of nature. Across all elements of Kiki's expansive art making, we can see hints of traditional Japanese artistic practices, including boro, which are mended or rewoven textiles, kamiko, handmade paper clothing, and buto, a unique form of expressive movement. Kiki creates with these Japanese traditional practices as a starting point, but freely crosses borders between all mediums. There is a practicality to the objects that Kiki creates. However, they do not fit together how you would imagine, or function as you would expect. Some of her ceramic vessels or dishes appear like they're only just holding it together. The paper garments are made from sellotaped recycled materials retrieved from the bin in whatever city she's working in. They are continually repaired and remodeled. The tears, rips, and scrunches are the style. But Kiki isn't imitating function and practicality. Highest Mountain and Deepest Bay is a collection of works that reflect her uninhibited imagination, created with unique style, formed over years and influenced by Japanese tradition, her mother Hiroko's craft, and Kiki's own need to create beautiful and useful things. This body of work isn't a gripping tale. The project is merely an excerpt of an arts practice and livelihood that is in constant continuum, a practice that is gentle, enduring, and practical.
芸術はもらう、芸術は踊る。先週、鳥と話しました。彼らの言うことによると、北の方では雪が降っているらしく、辺りは真っ白だそうだ。今週、魚と話しました。彼らは口をパクパクさせ、あまり私には興味がなさそうでしたが、仲間が必要らしく、少し寂しそうでした。昨日、人間と会いました。彼女は言いました。西では戦争が始まり、東では病気で人がたくさん死んでいるらしい。ここはとても平和です。 と嬉しそうでした。今日、宇宙人と会いました。彼らは言いました。地球の侵略を計画していると。顔に表情がなく、何を考えているのか分かりませんでした。花が散り、土に落ちた椿がまだりりしく、最後の命が枯れる前にあがくのは、万物の命も同じなのだろうか。芸術は笑う。芸術は踊る。私の体は自分勝手だ。心も勝手だ。勝手に泣いて、勝手に踊った。芸術に踊らされた。芸術は不器用だけど、ただ正直だった。答えを探そうとしたが、ただすべてが溢れるように浮き出し、音となり、歌っていた。
Hi, Kiki.
Hi, Rafi.
So with the exhibition, it's called Highest Mountain and Deepest Bay. And there's a series of your ceramics that were made over like 10, 12 years. And they're all in quite amazing colors, like muted tones of purples and yellows, and they're all, a lot of them are like dishes or like vessels, and quite a lot of them are like walking vessels actually. And so how did you get into making ceramics?
For ceramics, I was first time making ceramic when I was little. My mom took us a local ceramic class, which is just hand building, the one by one hand building. But when I was little, so it's not. Yeah, it was a good experience to make. And after I had a local ceramic class in Japan, so I was already probably interested in the ceramics. But when I get more constantly, I started was I discovered a community center here in Flemington. They have twice a week. They have a class, so I started going there regularly. Not for a long time until they closed.
And have you been able to find somewhere similar to that Flemington Community Centre, or not really?
Not really. It was community and really cheap to use the facility, and they made fire. They have a kiln, and then they let us to do whatever I want to make. I will want to make, which is no rule, no forced rule to make or anything. So everything.
So there's about 50 ceramics across the whole show. And so that's kind of the main part of it.
Yeah, and then there was a costume. One was made by white paper, and the one was made by craft brown paper, and the other one is a newspaper made costume, and the other one is the incense packet costume. Just all the sets, the outfit from hat, some of the mask, and then top and bottom. One set for each material to mix with.
Maybe you could talk a bit about it, but what I remember from that was that you had the fashion shows in the foundry because there was heaps of space, so you would have your like runway shows. And I remember I don't know if I bought it or I borrowed it, a pink bib from one of your collections, and I wore it to like a family dinner or lunch. And I remember my mum being really angry with me because she thought it was very, I don't know what she thought of it. I think she thought it was a bit weird.
It's called K, K starts K, K-U-N-T. Yeah, the fashion label called, which is very cute and pop and very colorful and yeah, and really designer style. I don't know why your mother's upset. Yeah, so good. It's, I don't know, maybe too high fashion.
And with the fashion stuff, I noticed that you kind of wrapped up the label, I love my cunt, and then, but you've always kept working with the textiles. And so over the last 10 years, maybe you've been, or maybe less, you've been doing the paper costumes to accompany your dance performances. Why did you start making paper outfits, and kind of where's the inspiration from?
Well, first time I went to Indonesia, made a big fashion show with local people. It was part of the Maya performance. And I find these concrete bags from some recycle garbage place, and I made the local people to wear. I dressed them up and then had a fashion show with them. That was a project. And after that, I wear them and then I put in the fire, and I burn it to everything. That was something big transformation for my work or my creativity. It's quite, it's something, new things comes up after burning everything.
And then there's the video Deep Sea Fish Inspire My Unique Personality, which is like a combination of all the ceramics and the costumes and your performance and your drawings and Ai's really amazing sound.
Hello, konnichiwa.
Hi, Kiki-chan.
Yeah, I really like your electronica beats. Quite pop and experimental ambient style. And yeah, I was expected you're always really good with you do field recording, which is lots of texture on the music, sounds, some voice or walking sounds and insects. Really, I really like the insect sounds. Really melancholic feeling.
Yeah, I guess I tend to my lot of works about the sense of places and time. So I wanna capture that moment with field recording. So it tells me where I was, and also sometimes depends on the sounds. I can tell which month I was there, that kind of things, using seasonable sounds like a crickets or cicada or something like that. Yeah, I think it's always combination, always make it interesting, and I call it as a sound diary. And for your work, I got video work from Rafael, and I saw your costume, which is made from paper, and you had a dancing parts, you had a ceramic parts, and you had a Japanese character moving behind you. So that was combination, and I just thought, I know Kiki long time. I wanted to celebrate Kiki sounds with those 4 elements. So I recorded paper sounds, and that corresponding your movement of your dance and your hiragana character, you know, you had a wa and ha and yo, and so I got your sound of that
I had
character.
The paper. I draw the
and that was animated as well.
San Japanese wa, which is harmony, also rounded meaning, and then recorded wa 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 wa.
Yeah,
wa,
yeah,
wa,
and animation.
wa,
Yeah,
wa,
that's right.
wa 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 wa.
And animation was like, you know, like was moving like that as well.
Yo 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 yo. Yeah, also you mixed with the Japanese kyogen, no,
and kyogen
performance sound.
You know, kakegoe. It's called kakegoe in Japanese, and in the performance, they do have a voice like yo, that kind of things. So when I saw the yo with, you know, like stick underneath yo, I thought it's a perfect place to put that traditional kakegoe sounds with it, with your voice.
Also traditional instrumental.
Yeah, so when ceramic was moving, you know, from right to left, it was the movement. And then I thought I just used the traditional Japanese percussion sounds as a walking sounds. And when there's a ceramic gets dropped in the screen, I use the kind of embody that movement with the sound. So there's a lot of movement to make it more fun and stuff. Yeah. So you had that sound with Japanese character, hiragana, and we used the Japanese traditional sounds.
Yeah.
And also that sound underneath had to be very playful and cute.
Also really cute, but it was really scary also. I really like your photography and those arts you made, the area, and I understand. I totally trust your taste and as an artist. It's really hard. It's really hard to find to find that my connection with my arts and photography is different from what you do because you ask lots of questions, but it's really hard to find out the concept, the work from me.
You haven't probably worked in a institutional, setting where you have to kind of explain what the show is for people that come through, and either have I. So I think it was as much me working out how to write about your show. Maybe you haven't had that much attention on your work before, and so you haven't got like things written about you or interviews and things like that. And so I guess I knew that in a way that there was more there than perhaps you were letting on. Like there was more depth, there was more that people would want to know about why you make work, or the opinions that you had, and that you hadn't been given that space before. Although I have to say, you did answer all my questions in an email, but amazingly, ingeniously, you wrote them in white, and so I couldn't see them. And so when one night when I was like looking through my emails trying to find more like content, somehow I must have highlighted or something, and I worked out that you had actually been writing to me in white. And so, and so you actually had been answering the questions, but I couldn't see them.
Wow, I never had a story about white email, white ink.
And what about talking about the work with your mom and having her work in the show? Is that, I'm sure that that must be a new experience, is it, for you both to have work in a show together?
Yeah, great idea to get my mother's stuff. So my mom sent me some patchwork and her stuff to us, and I asked her, "What are you making at the moment?" And she have lots of small things to make, and I asked Fresh to make her patchwork, and the story she already made. 自己紹介お願いします。
はい。安藤ひろこです。日本の静岡県沼津市に住んでいます。7年前に夫を亡くして、今は一人で暮らしています。1年前に仕事も辞めまして、家では、今太極拳と麻雀を楽しんでいます。
パッチワーク作品についてとどうやって作ったかを教えてください。
パッチワークは、自分の身近なものをテーマにしようと思って作りました。家の周りにあるものということで、富士山と桜を選びました。富士山は非常に思い出がありまして、みんなが大好き、家族大好きだったんですけど、夫が特に亡くなる寸前まで、写真に撮っていたので思い入れがあります。で、毎日家から富士山を見ていると、表情が毎日変わります。冬の富士、夏の富士、春の富士、そして朝焼けの富士、夕焼けの富士、昼間の富士、そして富士山の周りに彩られる、雲の形、笠雲やいろんな雲があります。毎日驚かされています。その感動をどうかして富士山に伝えたいなと思いましたけど、そんな力はないんですけど、でも富士山愛が感じられたらいいかなと思って富士山を2つつけちゃいました。そして、パッチワークは日本の古いもう100年以上前の方たちが着ていた着物ですね。アンティークな着物を使って作っています。全部シルクですね。で、やっぱり丸い男の子の模様のある生地も、あれは男の人の昔の着物の裏地にあった絵です。で、昔の方たちは本当に裏地にとてもおしゃれを楽しんでいたなっていうのを感じられます。桜はやっぱりいつも身近にあるので、桜っていうのはやっぱ日本の象徴ですし、散っていく花びらも美しいと思って作りました。
布草履についてとどうやって作ったかについて教えてください。
草履ですね。これ草履って言われてるんですけども、昔はわらじって言っててね、日本の昔の人たちは靴がないときは藁を編んで靴の代わりにしてたんです。で、これは私が着ている夏の浴衣です。浴衣、着物ですね。着物。浴衣は夏物は木綿でできてるんですね。で、それを昔のやっぱり古い人たちの、昔の人たちが着た、もう着古してしまった着物をこのくらいに切って、この幅に切って長く作るんですね、紐をね。そして、こういうのに通していくんです。 この紐をね、こうやって通していって、そしてこういうあれができます。だんだん作っていくんですけど、今途中ですけどね、こういうのができます。こういう形で編んでいます。夏にね、割とボコボコしていて、ここが肌触りがよくって好評ですよ。
クラフトとか作ることは好きですか？なぜ好きですか？そしてそれは家族や、お母さんの影響を受けましたか？
そうね、だから作っているのを見るのがすごく楽しかったし、そして曲がりなりにも自分がそういう作ることで家族の一員になれてて、そういう存在感もあったでしょうし、なんかそのお手伝いすることがとても楽しかったんで、そういうものを作るっていうことは多分本当影響があると思います。
住んでる町はどのようなところでしょうか？今住んでる町はどのようなところでしょうか？今住んでる町はどのようなところでしょうか？
はい。今住んでいるところは、ちょうど私が住んでいるところから、北側の家側が全部田んぼなんですね。稲が作ってあられて、で、田んぼは青い今ね稲がちょうど穂を出す手前なので、一面が緑色なんですね。一面緑色の葉が出ていて、そしてそれが風に揺れるとざわざわざわざわと波のようにこう揺れるんですよ。それがねすごくいいですよ。もういい景色です。わーってこう気持ちがいいっていう感じですね。で、その田んぼの向こうはもう足高山でしょ。で、足高山がそびえてて、その上にまた富士山がそびえて見えるんですね。で、富士山がやっぱり四季折々もう毎日こう見て、おはようって言って見てるんですけど、見えないからとても寂しいね。で、南側はちょっと歩くと川があって、川の向こうが海になってるんですね。なので四季折々そこをお友達とよく歩くんですけれども、川沿いは桜並木です。で桜が咲く頃は桜がピンクに染まって、そしてその下を黄色い菜の花が咲いていて、それを永遠と歩いていくと海に出るんですよね。
Thank you for watching. I would like to thank Kiki for all of the hours and hours of time she has put into this show. And I would also like to acknowledge the heartache of not being able to bring this show to life. Thanks to Irma Finn for the incredible animation, Yamamoto for her sounds and deep care when creating the work. And also many deep thanks to the dedicated exhibition team at the Japan Foundation for offering us this show and opportunity, and for all the time and resources put into the project.